Go.
And we are now live once again for NVR Live. How you doing tonight, Jen?
I'm doing fabulous. Had a rough couple weeks, but it's been hopefully now my life is going to get back to normal, which is very nice.
Now, I am going to warn people, I have been having computer issues the last couple days. So, if we go offline, I just got to reboot the computer. I'll get Jen back in here and we'll come right back and finish the show. So,
Yep.
I mean, stuff happens. And if you don't already have the bell clicked, go ahead and click the bell down there because that will alert you every time we start the show. Or anytime I upload a video. So, but... okay. Oh, I forgot something. Of course.
Hey, Steven, welcome.
Hey, Steven, good to see you, my brother. Brother from another mother. I forgot to open up Restream chat so that everybody can see the chat. Other than, because, you know, a lot of, well, Steven, we had an issue a couple of days ago that we were going to do Draco mods this week, but they're doing what they do best. They're at a convention. So next week we're going to have, or not next week, second week in June we're going to have Draco on. And Fagan, I am not allowing what you just said. But, you know, I'm keeping the chat on the screen. I didn't boot you last week. I just put you in the timeout, brother.
Hey, Megan, sweetheart, how you doing?
He likes to troll me. I don't know why, but...
Well, Megan, I watched a lot of your stuff. I respect you highly, and I'm glad you're here. If you want to troll, go ahead, but be kind to Miss Jen tonight. I've had a rough 2 weeks. And the reason I wasn't here last week,
oh,
you hear me?
Sorry, Jen. Guess what I did?
Turn my mic off.
That whole time I had your mic off.
Here's my message to him right here, right now.
Sorry, Mark.
Is it on
Thank
in-
you for catching that. I would not have caught it had Mark
Billy-
not been in the chat.
I'm up as high as I can go, sweetie. I think he had me off. That's why you guys couldn't hear me. So, but welcome to the show. Yeah, Fagan, I highly respect you. I was saying I'm so glad you're here, but be kind to Miss Jen tonight.
Oh, he's not gonna. He doesn't attack you.
I
He
know.
attacks me because I have very big opinions on things, and I rub people the wrong way sometimes, and I don't care. But
Well,
I
you
am
can do-
going to, before we get into the big thing, there is something I want to say in defense of not just Mark, but also our dear friends, which, you know, I still respect them, Mike, as well as Brian and Jay Hayes, and, of course, Billy over at Vapin' Heathen. Someone recently was going after them because they donated to the suit. Okay?
Why? They're good.
Well, here's the thing that I say about it. Because they donated, what have we been calling for? We've been calling for people that actually make money in the industry to give that money back into protecting the industry.
Absolutely.
Mark, he's an entrepreneur in the industry. He does make money off his YouTube, off his Patreon. I'm
Yep.
sure it doesn't really pay him enough for all the time he puts into reviews. You know, Mike has hit that juice. Brian, his elite line isn't, I think he's changing things up there. I'm not definite, but Heathen, he designs. I mean, you have so many of these individuals actually involved in the actual industry, making money in the industry, and then somebody goes off on them for donating money into the industry when we're calling on people that are making money off the industry to put that money in. I mean,
it drives me insane. I mean, I'm sorry, and I just want to say this real quick, guys. Knock it off. Not to come beat you, but you might like that. Anyway, I apologize for not being here. It was last minute last week. My father-in-law's in heart failure. I know. See what's going on in chat, and I'm sitting here and they're trying not to crack up.
That's part of live. Cracking up is part of live. So I don't mind cracking up ever so often.
But my poor father-in-law, he is 86 years old and is in heart failure. So we've been dealing with that, and I've been in the hospital, and his wife has Alzheimer's. So I'm really sorry I wasn't here last week, but I did watch it, and it went very, very well. Guys, behave yourself. Giveaways, you know what, Billy? This is my thoughts on giveaways. I've spoken to all my sponsors. As Rob knows, I'm sponsored, and many of you know I'm sponsored. I'm not doing giveaways per se anymore. Anything that I do, it will be like an auction, not saying hundreds of dollars, but even if it's $10. And that money is going into advocacy. It's going to go into Vape for the 22, which is with Draco Militia. We remember that every day 22 veterans will commit suicide on average from the things that they had to do, saw, or friends and family that they lost. So it'll go into that, and it will also go into the pot for, I know this is getting bad in here. It's getting bad. I'm trying to ignore it without blushing, and I didn't even put makeup on because my allergies are so bad. But, you know, into the VTA, AVA, CASA, so, you know, we can really get advocacy on the forefront. And the reason being is the things that we're going to talk about tonight. We need to put our money where our mouths are. So, no, I will not be doing any straight giveaways. They're going to be handled a little differently. And all the money you will be able to see transfers and stuff to Vape to the 22 and to AVA VTA. Also, Vape Tithing has now gone public today. It's an official site. If you're on Instagram, you can look it up. It's done by Fig Ramsey. Anybody that knows anybody knows Fig is big into that. He did the Vapes Giving last year. So, you know, please get involved with that.
Mark, why do you do that the second I take a vape?
I'm glad my husband doesn't watch the show.
Of course, though, I'm going to say something about Mark. Thank goodness I have this. It's not 18 plus, but it does say it's for adults only.
Yeah, I know.
There is a reason Mark put a hole inside of what he had that he was blowing smoke out of last night. He is highly overcompensating.
Oh my gosh. You know what? You know, it's kind of like when I was doing my live shows, and do you know the Monkey-O?
No.
Oh my gosh. I'll bring it out next
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I know what you're talking about. The balloons.
Well, yeah, and it looks like a penis.
Bubbles.
Yeah, penis with ears are the
yes.
Looks like a penis, and it, I mean, every time I would do a show, I mean, it went straight to the toilet. So I'll bring it out next week. It's put away in the other room, but if it gets like this, I'll start pulling Monkey-O out. So,
but let's go ahead and get into the main topic of tonight.
Yes, it's huge.
I mean, I'm going to come flat out and say it. A lot of people are not going to really like that I'm going to say this, but Vapers have majorly been stabbed in the back.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, we have been behind, or let me rephrase this in a way that even our dear president would get. we have been bigly stabbed in the back.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But
it's huge, huge.
And I do have the link for both the VTA statement as well as I think I included a link. No, I didn't.
Oh, for the full committee markup report that I have?
For the agriculture bill. I've got it.
Oh, okay, because I know I sent it to you earlier.
Yeah, I've got the actual link, and I'll post it in the chat, and then later in the night, I'll post it in the actual description down bottom.
Actually, Frederico, when Rob and I were talking about it earlier, I said, no, we were taking it bent over up the butt. Absolutely. Literally done that to us. We're not looking at 2022 anymore. Based on what I read, and I can be corrected if I'm wrong, but I did print out the entire bill itself, how they wrote it up, and it's going to be months, not years.
Well, here is the thing. The way, first off, we have to remember, the Senate did not do the same thing as the House.
Right.
So here's what's going to happen. I mean, let's be honest. When has the United States in the last 10 years actually passed a budget before September?
Oh, they never do.
Exactly. So this isn't even going to see the light of day till probably, my guess is, March or April of next year.
If we're lucky, yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, I look for them to be going into another omnibus bill.
Yep.
And we're going to just be lost in the stratosphere
in the
once
shuffle.
again.
And the problem is they're going to extend it to see how the House, if the House and Senate flips in November.
Yes.
So they're going to, put this off as long as they can, because if we do have them flip, we're seriously screwed.
If the United States, and this is why I tell people the 2018 elections, when it comes to vaping, is going to be one of the most important elections.
It is.
Because literally, right now, there's only two options that we have as vapers. I still consider the legislative option an option. Even though it's almost impossible for something like this to actually make a dent. I mean, it's going to be next to impossible. It's going to take a miracle for something to happen. But the whole thing is, there is always that chance. Then you have the FDA issue, which I'm going to make a few things clear, because some people actually, let me rephrase this. One individual talked about this already. And I had all intentions on talking about this, but I wanted to take care of last week, not deal with any other issues, just deal with the Armageddon issue. But the whole thing is, when it comes down to it, the little bit that was added, first off, was not actual language in the bill.
Right.
It was report language. And what a lot of people do not understand about legislative report language is they are trying to advise on where they want to see the focus go. And if you really read, and I'm talking, you have to really dive deep and look at it from a legislative standpoint, all they are telling them is that they want to see a little bit of progress made. They don't want to see the FDA dragging their feet like they are right now.
Right. And in this particular document, now the one that I have, it's the amendments adopted to the Agriculture Appropriations Bill for the fiscal year. You know that our government runs September through end of August. That's a fiscal year instead of a calendar year for 2019. And the language that they've switched out and the things that they've put in They basically took Cole Bishop and destroyed it. They took out the predicate date to move it to August 8th of 16. It is listed in here to February 15th of 2007. They did change that. The other thing that they want in here is to include, but not limited to, characterizing flavors and batteries. So they want, and this is going to be coming from the Secretary of Health and Human Services through the FDA.
Well, what they want, because I read that same thing, what they want is they want research as to what they can actually do about batteries and characterizing flavors.
Right. Absolutely.
Because the whole thing is, though, when they do that, they have to go in there, they actually have to discuss and find, once again, like they did the last time, when they were going to try to ban flavors. Back during the FDA final rule, they had talked about it. And they didn't do it.
Oops.
Because the report, when it came back, the financial report, was saying it was going to destroy things. Which we've all known this since the beginning.
Right.
And
absolutely.
Honestly, that's the same report they're going to get back. Do they have the ability to ban flavors? Yes. But I really think, and now this is just personal beliefs, you know, I tell everybody that what we do is, I think things and I just say it how I think. What I really think will happen is they'll just say, I mean, hey, this is what's going on. We really don't think we can do this, but they can, and on top of that, the sad part is that idiots that have caused this, one of the major idiots that caused this, tried to cover their butts with a little peace flag candy cane, donating $60,000. I'm sorry, I consider them trash. I know a lot of people will disagree with me. I consider the company trash. They do not belong in the industry, just simply because they caused this issue. They and all the other organizations that did not back what was brought to them in 2015 by Dimitri, Space Jam, and all the big companies at that time. I mean, if you really think about it, Space Jam and Cutwood were two of the biggest companies in 2015.
Correct.
And Space Jam was actually at the summit that they did in D.C. with the FDA. They flat out told them, get your crap together or we will.
Yep. And in this document, that's basically what they're saying. Get it together, get the stuff together, and they're now saying, and as we all say, the FDA can't make laws. Well, they use this nice word that's called rules. So if they weren't allowed to make actual laws, then why is Vapers having to follow their rules? It's the same word used and it looks nice. Because technically the only part of our government that can make a law is Congress. That's it. So they use the word rule and they've been given that authority. And because of that, and in this, and I hope you guys throw a big hissy fit on this, they took out and are excluding pipe tobacco and cigars.
Well, that's in the House version. The Senate doesn't have any of that language whatsoever.
I know, but the problem is that's still combustible tobacco. You're still inhaling carcinogens, period. So it infuriates me where we have a plethora of information. We have studies that prove that vaping is 95% healthier between doing studies and doing, you know, questionnaires and stuff.